Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday celebration for Unity of Reading. Today is May 3rd. The daily word today is world peace. I contribute to peace in the world. When I learn of conflict in my community or in the world, my response may be frustration, sadness, or anger. If I have those feelings, I remember that I am more than merely a human. I am a living expression of God, heir to all that God is. I use my divine facilities of wisdom, understanding, and love to create an abiding peace that is my birthright. Centered in divine peace, I realize that every person is an expression of God as I am. As differences dissolve in a way that transcends human understanding, I come to know oneness with all the world's people. I let this realization shape my response to every person in every situation. In an awareness of my oneness with all people, my thoughts, words, and actions contribute to world peace. From John 17:22, the glory that you have given me, I have given them, so that they may be one as we are one. I thank you for joining us today, and if this message moves you, or if the Unity teachings move you or have helped you, we invite you to donate to Unity of Reading, 4443 10th Avenue in Temple, Pennsylvania. So last week I began a series on happiness and joy, and I hope that everyone that listened to that made a commitment to take the happy stance and commit to connect with the joy that already resides within each and every one of us. I also hope that you began playing a part in the happy channel instead of the drama channel, because it makes a difference on what roles we decide to play in life. In Galatians, Paul writes, "Be the fruits of the spirit of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness." As we speak of joy, remember that this applies to all of the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, and faith. We all have access to all of those things at all times. But as a grower knows, in order to produce succulent fruit, we need to take care of the plant. We need to prune off the dead branches to keep it watered and to give it healthy nutrients. I believe that everyone would agree that expressing these qualities of love, joy, peace, and living a life filled with joy would be living in the kingdom of heaven. But how do we do that? Well, every spiritual master has referred to childlike innocence. Jesus told us, "Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." Lao Tzu is quoted as saying, "Being the valley of the world, eternal virtue will never desert you, and you become like a little child anew." I have come to learn that many times in this world we have life backwards. We have the false idea that we must teach our children instead of allowing them to teach us and to learn from them. Little children are born expressing the fruits of the Spirit, and then we, as loving adults, socialize them to the world, and many, unfortunately, lose that childlike innocence, their spiritual connection, and they adopt the views of the world. The fruits of the Spirit never get a chance to open and ripen and open to their fullest potential. If you watch any baby or toddler, you know that they are filled with joy and love. Their laughter is spontaneous and full of joy, and their love is truly unmatched. I learned a great deal from my own grandchildren when I took the time, especially regarding expressing the fruits of the Spirit within. My grandchildren have truly become my best teachers. I remember watching my granddaughter Izzy when she was about 2.5 years old. We were awaiting the arrival of her baby brother, and so she was really into playing dolls and being the little mommy at that time. She would hug her dolls and kiss them and sing to them, rock them, and she had such a smile and a peaceful, loving, contented look on her face. And I watched her and I thought, what does she get from that? Certainly that doll isn't showing love back to her. Then it dawned on me, yes, that doll was showing her love. It was reflecting Izzy's love back to her. It wasn't about Izzy looking for love from her doll. It was about her expressing her love outward. Buddha stated, "Care about your children. Just bless them instead of worrying, as every child is a little Buddha who helps his parents to grow up." Wow, what a lesson. As we adults look for happiness, joy, and love coming to us, we forget nothing can bring that to us. It must come from within us. We have to realize that all the joy and the love and the experience is our own love and joy being reflected back to us, just as it was to Izzy. Anything that makes us feel joyful or loved is just igniting that spark that is already there and allowing us to let it shine forth. This is so important to realize. Nothing comes to us. It must come from us or through us. If we want more joy in our life, we have to express more joyfulness. If we want more love in our lives, we have to be more loving and express that love from within. Truly, what we give is what we receive back. And we all have this kind of love and joy within us. We are born with it, and it is just waiting to burst forth and be expressed to the world. This is the light that Jesus spoke of when he said, "You are the light of the world. Don't hide that light, but let it shine forth to the world." Interesting also how light is used to signify a higher vibration or awakening. When someone is down, we say to them, "Lighten up." Or when we have an aha moment, we say, "I saw the light." I found it very significant that research on the COVID-19 virus shows that it dies much quicker when exposed to the sunlight. I believe it's actually within minutes compared to hours. Light always is associated with healing, coming out of the darkness, and allowing the fruits of the Spirit to shine through in some way. In Matthew, Jesus said, "Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." I love to bring spirituality and science together, and I get excited that there's so much research on spiritual practices and beliefs. In her book titled The How of Happiness, Sonia Lyubomirsky, who is a PhD in positive psychology, she illustrates a pie chart regarding happiness. And it showed about 50% of our happiness may be genetic. And yes, it's true that some people are born Tiggers, bouncing off the wall with joy, and some are just Eeyores, and the rest are somewhere in between. However, research also shows that life events and circumstances, what we usually attribute our level of happiness to, only accounts for 10% of our overall happiness. What is exciting once again is that research shows that 40% of our happiness is related to our own thoughts and actions. Think about that. We control over about 40% of our own happiness just by our thoughts and our actions. So, using the Eeyore excuse, "I was just born unhappy," doesn't cut it, nor does blaming something else or someone else for our happiness or unhappiness. And think about it. So much that we attribute to our level of happiness, the outside circumstances and happiness in our life only account for about 10% of our overall level of happiness. Research has also shown that our brains many times do not tell us the truth about things. We tend to make predictions on the way that events will impact our happiness, either good or bad. Interestingly, most time our predictions are way off. Sometimes we believe that something will bring us so much happiness, and in the end it doesn't bring us that much happiness, or at least not long-lasting happiness or the level of our predictions. And the other way, things that we predict will make us so much unhappy, or we label as so bad, most times does not cause that amount of happiness or unhappiness that we had predicted. Just knowing this fact can help us to stop and reevaluate. Is this really as bad as I'm making it out to be? It is also helps sometimes to think back to some event that we thought, "Oh my God, this is the worst thing that could ever happen in my life." As we would let the circumstances unfold, and as we look back now, we say, "Do you know what? That was probably the best thing that could have happened in my life." So, bottom line is, trust not to thine own understanding, but hand it over to the power greater than ourselves, and always hold on to the reassurance that all is well and all will work out for the good if we have faith. So when we talk about working on the 40% of happiness that we can change, is looking how we are thieves in the night, robbing ourselves of our own happiness and love. How are we putting a bushel over our light, and what can we do to allow this light to always be there and shine forth? We must realize that we cannot find the means of providing us with happiness or fulfillment or meaning in life until you find yourself, until you find your own innateness, until you deal with the fact that you are a spiritual being and that you have within you the unborn possibility of limitless life. Yours is a privilege and a responsibility always to give forth birth to that unlimitless life. You can give birth to it at any time you want along life's path. I realize I say this over and over and over again, but it's so important not only to know it, but to trust it and to live it by experience. Eric Butterworth had a podcast called Adventures in Self-Discovery, Your Power to Be Happy. He says, one of the things that makes this so real to me is the idea that happiness comes from the root word happen. Happen and happiness come from the same root. That may surprise you a little bit because it seems totally separate. What does a happening have to do with happiness? The answer is everything, everything. As a matter of fact, this unfoldment of the word is not unusual. It's very real because actually life is an experience of happenings. And the person who is in tune with life's happenings, that is the person who is non-resistant, the person who lets experiences unfold. He says, after all, life lives from within out, and I'm ready to let it happen. Let it happen. Let it unfold. Let it be. This is the person who experiences the flow of creativity. He paints pictures, he builds houses, he bakes cakes, he writes books. He's a creative expression because he's in tune with the happening process of life. Because of that, he experiences what we call happiness. Happiness because things are happening for him. This is not a play on words that has no validity. You'll find in the root word that they're both closely related. The interesting thing is that corresponding or opposite concept of unhappiness comes from the tendency to try to unhappen things. This is exactly what unhappiness is caused by. A person who tends to resist the changing of experience of life. He does not see life as a continued experience of happenings. He's insecure. He's fearful. He doesn't want things to happen. He tries to hold back the dawn, to sweep back the tides. I talked last week that we know that no one or nothing can be the cause of our unhappiness. It's always our thoughts and our perceptions of the situation that cause the feelings of discontent and unhappiness. Jesus taught, resist not evil, but overcome evil with good. Buddha also taught that suffering, which is mental suffering, comes from being attached to outcomes, being resistant and unaccepting. This is the part of the 40% of our own happiness that we have control over. Is there anything in your life now that you are resisting? Any situation or circumstance that you are not accepting or pushing against? The Serenity Prayer, a great and widely used prayer, goes like this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The wisdom is knowing that there is truly only one thing to change, and that is you, your thoughts, your attitudes, your beliefs. And as you change, outer circumstances automatically change. Gandhi was accredited with the quote, "Be the change you wish to see in life." There are several practices taught by the great masters, and now we have evidence-based through research to help us change that 40% of happiness which we have control over. Throughout this series, I will focus on some of those practices. Last week, I talked about fake it till you make it, acting as if, playing the role. Today's focus is resist not evil, but overcome evil with good. We cannot tell ourselves not to think about something because as soon as we tell ourselves not to think about it, we're thinking about the exact thing. So I'll tell you right now, don't think about pink elephants. What are you thinking about? Pink elephants. That automatically comes into your head. But as Jesus taught, resist not happenings, but overcome them with a good perspective. We have a conscious choice of what thoughts we let stuck in our minds. Sometimes things pop into our heads which make us feel unhappy, but we do have the choice on how long we want to dwell on that thought. Paul advised us, finally, brothers and sisters, do not be anxious about anything, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about these things. When you have a time that you feel unhappy about something or someone, ask yourself, what is it about this situation or person that I cannot accept? What change am I trying to make unhappen? Once again, take the power to take your happiness back. Work on replacing resistance with acceptance, knowing that as your thoughts about your perception of circumstances change, so will your circumstance. Your mind can only hold one thought at a time. Change those thoughts to thoughts that make you feel good instead of thoughts that make you feel unhappy. Replace those thoughts with thoughts of acceptance, courage, strength, hope, knowing that as you change these thoughts, you will become the overcomer, that you have the power inside you that the power over any circumstance or any person outside of you. Feel that light burning within. This is the flame of jubilance, the flame of love, and connect with that flame. Give gratitude for this experience of growth, this experience to see the light and to let your light shine forth. I will end with another excerpt from Eric Butterworth. He says, what kind of life would it be if life was not a circumstance or a continuous series of happenings? The fact is that the major source of all our unhappiness that society experiences together, or that each one of us experience individually, is the result of trying subtly to happen things or people or circumstances. Think about that. Take that little word, unhappen, and happen. Mull it over, meditate on it, reflect on it, write it down on a piece of paper and turn it backwards and forwards, and get the realization that life is a constant process of happenings. If we determine that we're going to get into the flow of the happening process of life, we will experience the corresponding joy and happiness that we all seek, you see. A life can only be vital and real. Relationships can only be happy and harmonious. And you can only experience joy in life if you're in the constant process of growth and change. Let it happen. The next time you find yourself resisting some kind of change, and there's an awful lot of change that's happening right now, coming from a lot of different areas, but take these and not resist this change. Say, I will adapt myself to the unfolding law of divine order. How important this is to realize that, first of all, there must come a tendency, a willingness to let it happen. Let your life happen. As Meister Eckhart would say, let God be God in you, and know that God is a creative process, that you can't stay the same. Make a choice today to let your light shine. Express the joy and the love which you are, and see it reflected back into your life tenfold. And so it is. Now that we have hopefully fully realized that we are the source of our own happiness and joy, next week I will continue with several spiritually taught and science research-backed techniques for tapping into our inner wealth of joy and increasing our own happiness. Please join us then. And now I would like to take some of these thoughts into meditation. And I'd like to present to you an 8-breath meditation in which you learn 8 words with breathing techniques to increase our happiness. So I'd like you to get comfortable in your seat. Feel the energy around you. Feel the environment. Feel the air on your face. Notice your breathing as you breathe in and out, as we will focus on your breathing in this exercise. As you take your first breath in, bring your awareness to the sensation of your breathing. Pay close attention to the physical sensation of your breath as it moves in and out. Follow your in-breath and your out-breath from the beginning to the end. As you breathe in, say the word breath. As you breathe out, say the word breath. With continued breathing, now bring your attention to all the sensations of your entire body. Allow your awareness to completely feel your body and notice what you find. Some sensations will be pleasant, some unpleasant, and some neutral. See if you can allow yourself just to feel these sensations without trying to change them, without judging them. Pay special attention to any tension, heaviness, or agitation. The word for this breath is body. As you breathe in, say body. As you breathe out, say body. With the next set of breaths, actively release all the tension, the heaviness, and the agitation that you have sensed in your body. You can imagine that by being washed out of you by your breath. The word for this breath is release. As you breathe in, release. As you breathe out, say release. Release. With the next set of breaths, say to yourself, may you have ease and lightness of body and mind. May you have ease and lightness of body and mind. See if you can say this with your heart filled with love and generosity towards yourself. You are wishing yourself well and sending compassion to your body and to your mind. The word for this breath is love. As you breathe in love. As you breathe out love. Within the next set of breaths, notice if there are any cravings or aversions present in you. Is there any part of you that really wants reality to be different right now? Is there any way that you are not accepting or fighting against things as they are? Just notice any cravings or resistance and let yourself feel them without trying to make them go away, without judging or resisting. They are not your enemy. They are a part of you that needs love and caring. The word for this breath is cravings. Breathe in and breathe out, cravings. With the next set of breaths, become aware of everything you need to be happy is already present in this moment. All of the conditions that are needed for peace, for joy, for freedom, for happiness are already here. In every moment of life, there is infinite reasons to suffer and be unhappy, but there are also infinite reasons to be happy. What matters is where we're putting our attention. Let's no longer ignore the positive conditions that are available to us at this moment. Problems may exist, but they are not the only thing that exists. For this one breath, focus on everything that in life is good. We are no longer regretting the past or worrying about the future. We are here, the present, and present to the life of miracles. The word for this breath is letting go. With the seventh set of breaths, become aware that you are alive. As you breathe, feel the energy of life moving through you. With this breath, we recognize the miracle of being alive. We can become fully alive to the experience of being alive and in the present moment. We see that living is such a precious, precious thing. If you had just a few minutes to live, it would be so clear that 24 hours of life is incredibly precious. Let's not ignore this truth. The word for this breath is alive. Feel your aliveness. Feel the joy, feel the happiness of being alive. With the eighth set of breaths, become aware of all the beauty within and around you. As soon as we let go of our desires and wake up to the present moment, we see that reality really itself is indescribably beautiful. All of our senses, our sight, sound, smell, touch, taste, and mental perception, deliver this beauty to us as a precious gift. All we have to do is to enjoy it. The word for this breath is beauty. As you breathe in, focus on beauty in your life. and breathe out beauty. As you continue to practice these breaths, breathe in breath, in and out. Breathe in body, in and out. Breathe in release, in and out. Focus on love and breathe in and out. Cravings and resistance, in and out. Letting go as you feel everything being let go, in and out. And finally, breathe in being alive. Feel the feeling in this precious moment. Feel the love and the joy and the beauty that is already there. And end your 8th breath with beauty and gratitude. And so it is. I invite you to take a few minutes to sit quietly and focus on the beauty, the love, and the joy that is already present in your life. Feel those feelings of gratitude well up in your heart. Make a commitment to express this love outward. For any love that we feel that we get from outside is really just igniting that spark that's already within us. Feel the love, the joy, the happiness, the peace in this moment. And make a commitment to bring it back into the rest of your day and into the rest of your week. And so it is. Have a happy, joy-filled, blessed week. Amen.